You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, 2 heels and a face.
Who was that clap for?
For you, Charlie.
For me? Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast. We're restarting. My computer just pooped. Take two. We had like 8 minutes of solid banter. We were filling time there, and then all of a sudden it just shit itself. Thanks for listening today. We're going to squeeze out some catch up, so to speak, catch up on Freelance Wrestling. Chris, how you been, man?
Doing good. We are back. Like I said, take 2, and it gave me a chance to go get a little bit of whiskey.
There you go.
So I'm not empty-handed. I was empty-handed earlier, but you know,
you were dry. You were dry. Yeah. The last take. We just had 8 minutes of solid banter. What did we talk about? I went to Star Wars Burlesque. We talked about that.
You said it was good. You enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. I supported the people that have ostracized freelance wrestling, although one could argue they've been thriving in these new locales, except for the fact that they basically got by the skin of their teeth because one of the locations got shut down. But Emporium shows have been fun.
You've been attending to those. You talked about the show being near your place, right?
Yeah, Avondale Music Hall. It is like Margaret and I basically ran home from there in a rainstorm, but it was only like 3 or 4 blocks that we had to sprint. And I could not be more fortunate to see some high quality wrestling. So I'm just a very lucky person, I guess.
You are. Talked about, and I'll acknowledge my hiatus from the wrestling scene. I haven't been to a show in a good minute, so I'm well overdue. But you've been holding it down. You've been repping, so appreciate that. You held it down last week with or 2 weeks ago with an episode with, is it Ezio? Yeah.
It's almost like there should be a T in there, but there isn't. Like Ezio. There is a
Doesn't that recall for an extra C in there, right? To make the T sound or not? I don't know. But
is that it? Is that how that works? 2 Z's equals a T?
I think so.
Okay. Maybe I'm saying it wrong then. He said I said pronounce it right. That's what he said.
Right. I heard you pronounce it. He said it too. So for sure, I could be wrong, but I enjoyed the interview. It was good because we talked to him briefly at a couple of shows, and you referenced one of the distillery shows with Freelance Underground. So that's where I actually got to meet him, and it was good to learn more about his character and how he's growing it. The whole alpha thing that he has going on. So I'm down with it, man. I want to see. He seems like he's hungry. He wants more opportunities. So hopefully he gets that.
Hungry more ways than one. He's consuming calories. He's consuming opportunities.
Can I also say that I think you said this before in a previous episode, but Old Country Buffet, when you kept saying OCB, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did I not say what that meant?
Eventually you did say. I'm like, oh no shit, okay. But
yeah, the Old Country bastard, basically. No, not the ODB, the OCB.
That was definitely the buffet I grew up with. So
I know the OGs. We got to teach these youngins. We're like, I feel like everyone we talk to now, not. By the way, James is from Freelance. Is supposed to be joining us anymore. He's not late. We screwed up.
He'll join shortly.
Late. He joined shortly. We started late, and then my computer died. If my computer dies on me again, or gives me the blue screen of death, I feel like that it's a sign that it's just not meant to be tonight. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So,
all right. Well, if you hear this episode, it was meant to be. I'll put it that
way. He's gonna join us at any moment, but until then, we're catching up. We're filling airtime. I went on a whole rant about seltzers, and now all I want to do, I don't have to do the rant again. All I want to say
Mhm.
is the long drink or long drink. Just go try them. It's like a gin seltzer mix because everyone's into the half and halves now.
Yeah.
So, and you have your whiskey. What kind of whiskey is that?
This is an Angel's Envy. Actually, just finished the bottle.
Wow, you
So,
lush.
it's I really been in a whiskey kick for quite some time, just trying different whiskeys. But we were talking about beer. When it comes down to beer, the go-to for me is still Modelo. Even though Modelo has tried and released different like spicy flavors. I don't know if you've tried any of those.
No, I haven't.
Mango, the mango one is still, my favorite, but there's like a watermelon, there's
Oh,
lime,
geez.
pineapple. So they're really experimenting and really targeting that Hispanic market. As kids growing up, you'll get from the ice cream man, down the street, he will sell you pineapple with chili, um, and
Yeah.
now you have that in a can. So
Okay.
you know those are options, but my go-to is just basic regular Modelo. Maybe some lime, maybe some salt once in a while, but out of the can, nothing is needed. Just maybe some wrestling. That's what I'm missing.
Yeah, that's the ingredient you're missing. I think it's it might be the most consumed beer in the US, is it? Or is it like I feel like it
That's
used to be Bud
that's that
Light, but
came, yeah, after the whole Bud Light thing.
like the whole Bud Light thing, yeah, with like
Modelo became the
obviously,
top.
yeah, Modelo became the top. We won't get into that, but yeah, obviously people freaked out for no reason. But I still would drink Bud Light,
Yep.
and but I think Modelo overtook after that happened. So shout out to Modelo. I mean, we put it
Shout
over
out to
first. That's
Modelo
all I gotta
for
say.
sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the Berwyn Eagles Club ran out of Modelo's many nights because of us. So
That's true. We have physical evidence of that. Physical evidence of literally crushing the cans, crushing Modelo's. Very proud of that. But yeah, the ingredient that you were missing, right? Freelance
yeah, so
wrestling.
we're gonna jump around a little bit while we kind of wait for James, maybe. But
Mhm.
I did see a post where Craig Mitchell had a cardboard cutout of Margaret,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
a big Margaret head.
Yeah. He took care of her. He handled her very gently. Let's just say
Okay.
that. So how did that start? So during the pandemic, this is not like we're not going to make this up. We're not referencing it just because to reference it, but like that's part of the story. So
Mhm.
we couldn't, like, Margaret had a birthday during the pandemic. No one could really see each other. Someone dropped off a fat head of her
Okay.
as like a joke or like a birthday present, etc. In case you're not familiar, in case we talked about, was this the take two or take one? We talked about how old we were compared to some of the people we interview. Etsy Orlandi being a lot younger than us. So some people might not know what a fat head is, but a fat head is a large blow up of. It started with like large blowups of like sports players.
Yeah.
You'd stick them to your wall. I had like a Devin Hester fat head, or I think that you'd stick to the wall, and they were like life
like
size.
decals.
The decals, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this one was like cardboard, but it was her face in a wig, blown up. So that wig, I think that photo.
For reference, Margaret is Charlie's wife.
Margaret is my wife. Thank you for that context. But I think that photo was of her when you hang out in Boys Town, and we hang out with some people that we know from Boys Town.
Okay.
A lot of crazy shit happens. The speaking like as politically correct as I can, the gays party hard. They really do. Like the gay people
I can't keep up. I
party
did
very hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those nights in Boys Town. I think I had like met up later, but Margaret was wearing this wig because at certain bars people dress up, etc. So there's a picture of her in this wig. It got blown up. sent to her as a birthday present. And because of all the feuding, which we'll ask James about when he gets here, all the feuding that like Craig Mitchell and Shane Mercer have been doing, it's gotten to the point with them where they're a fans bring the weapons match was the only way to really settle that. I think it's settled now, unfortunately, spoiler alert, Shane Mercer, I believe, and James ended up going over. But we were looking around. We had that fathead in our place for years. The match gets announced, and I'm like, holy shit, like we should use it as an opportunity to get rid of this fathead that we've had at our place for years. And I tweeted a picture of it to Craig, and I'm like, hey, is this considered a weapon? Like, let me know. I want to bring it, etc. He's like, put some thumbtacks in it, and I'll try to slam Mercer through it. So I was like, deal. So I put thumbtack. It's hard to see in the video. I put a video on our Instagram story of it. Spoiler: it gets torn up, ripped to shreds. This thing, this fathead. Shane Mercer can lift bleachers. He can lift humans, and he can rip cardboard. He's that strong. So this thing got absolutely torn up by Shane Mercer, but we tried to make it into a weapon. We put thumbtacks through the eyes. You can't really see that, but there was thumbtacks like through her teeth, and there was thumbtacks like sticking out of her chin. So we tried. So I feel like you could have maybe put it between two chairs, and it would have been a formidable cardboard tack table. Okay. You could have done a couple things with it. I mean, in this match, there was like a baseball. It was a baseball. It was like a dog toy almost, but in the shape of a baseball bat. So it was like kind of that chewy plastic.
Okay.
But this thing was filled with tacks sticking out of it. There was like so many things with tacks, and this fucking giant bags of tacks were just dumped out onto the ground. Margaret's face had tacks in it. And it was funny too, because we didn't, when we got there, this is the last show, Freelance Take This to the Ring.
Okay.
When we got there, I walk in with this fat head. This thing's fucking huge. And I'm like I'm talking to Perch. I'm talking to Trevor Outlaw. I'm like, yo, where are all the weapons? Like, where do I put the weapons? And Trevor's like, I think Trevor was like, yeah, there's a bunch of shit back there. Like, just, I don't know, give it to someone and they'll put it backstage in like the pile of stuff, they'll put it backstage. And then I was like, okay, I trust Trevor's opinion, but I'm still like not sure. Like, I want to make sure
well, that's debatable, but all right, Charlie, you go ahead and say that.
Yeah. That's a good response. And I'm like, I just want to make sure this thing gets to the ring. And then Perch is like, speaking of Trevor and Perch, something happened with them as well. Perch is like, yeah, no, I'll take it. Let me take it back. Like, Perch is
good guy, Perch.
Good guy, Perch, exactly. I'll take it back there. I'll make sure it gets put with like all the other stuff. So when the match comes, I'm seeing like the opposite corner of the locker room. The opposite corner of the locker room, there was like people who, like, ring crew was over there.
Okay.
So like students and just people who help out the ring, etc. They start like taking shit from that corner, which is the opposite corner of the locker room. So they start just pulling out all this shit. There was a picture of the Last Supper.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jesus's Last Supper before he was crucified. There was a photo of it that made it a long photo. This thing like could have been hung in a museum. It was so fucking there's a bunch, like I said, everything with tacks, doors, chairs. It's all getting like pulled out of this corner. Meanwhile, Fathead Margaret, I'm going to call it that, Fathead Margaret, is in the locker room. And that's the opposite end of where all the stuff is getting pulled out. And I'm like, damn it. It's like, Margaret, we fucked up. We didn't get it to the ring. It's not going to be used. And I'm like, I just wanted some sort of like stupid memory with this thing. Honestly, I just wanted to see it be used. lo and behold, Craig Mitchell comes out second. He comes out with holding Fathead Margaret in his hands. And then it didn't really get used as a weapon. It really just sat like in the corner near one of the turnbuckles. And it was blocking the view of like people in the front row.
Oh, wow.
Because it was so big. They were shouting at the thing. They're like, hey, can you move it? Can you move use this and move it? And Margaret and I are just like standing right behind them. We're just like crying. We're laughing so hard. And then Shane Mercer ripped it up. So that was that story.
Well, I mean, it got used, and because normally, what I remember whenever I've been to fans bring the weapons match, like the fans hold on to the weapon, and then they'll like the wrestlers will go around and start picking stuff from the fans, or the fans will just kind of throw it in the ring, and then whatever happens.
You know what? You're right.
Mhm.
I didn't think about that though. I just wanted to stop holding the giant cardboard head so I could start drinking. And
It would have been great if Margaret would have worn that same wig, you know?
It would have been great. I don't know where that thing belongs to, a bar in Boys Town or North Halstead, whatever you want to call it. But that thing's probably been burned at the stake by now, because that was years ago, and that thing's probably filthy. But yeah, that's what happened. So that was a fun match to watch.
Good stuff. But I mean, do we want to get into some freelance talk? I mean, I don't want to put James on the spot, but as far as I know,
yeah, I mean, we can.
We started a little off schedule here, but we'll make it, make it worth it for the listeners. And if James jumps in, that'll be great. He'll give us his perspective. Before we move on to freelance, I was in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, if not 2 weeks ago or so.
Interesting. I just booked a trip there to watch the Bears lose, but continue.
Interesting. Well, two things out of that, right? So I learned that Kansas City is being branded as the soccer capital of America. So that was interesting. They're a World Cup city, so they're getting a World Cup game or two.
I'm
apparently
confused. Continue.
Well, they're just branding it as the Kansas City being the soccer capital of America. That's what they're going with. They're developing like an all women stadium. Like they're the first city to dedicate a stadium for women's soccer, which is
that's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. And well, in my couple of days that I was out there, I was able to catch up with our good friend Matt Bacalling from Zella Pro.
Yeah, tell me how that went.
It was good. We just had lunch. I mean, I had a couple free hours, and just reached out to him and said, hey, I'm in your city, if you're down, like, let's grab some food. And we cut up. Cello still is not completely gone, right? Like there's still Cello things that could potentially happen. It's just that the stars have to line up. But it was good catching up with him. He's doing good. He's doing well for himself for sure. And I mean, we talked a little bit of wrestling. His kids are into wrestling still, so
that's sweet.
It's not, he's not far from reaching back and bringing Cello back to hopefully another show in the near future.
That's cool. So what were you doing there initially? Was it for work?
For work, yeah. We're opening new offices out there. So
big time.
Yeah,
what'd you guys get to eat?
Represent. We ate. So Kansas City's famous for the barbecue, right? And I asked him, like, what should we eat? Based on the location, I was in the downtown area. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I don't want to overload you with barbecue if you're going to be eating barbecue every single day. But I said, hey, don't you worry about that, all right? Let me deal with that issue. Like, you just suggest a place. And yeah, we had a good barbecue, man. Like, I think actually he was the only person that took me out for barbecue. Everybody else was different stuff. Good food all around. But I really like the city. It's pretty cool. So we'll definitely awesome. Yeah, definitely. I'll be, even if it's not for work, I wouldn't even mind, taking a quick trip out there with the family, and especially if they're having more soccer. Why not?
Yeah, that's. I did want to talk to you about. So I got a text from James just now. Says having issues. It's just a bad technical day for all of us, honestly.
Yeah.
He said iPad won't log into Twitter. And that's where we sent the link to join. But and I asked him what his email was, so maybe we can just forward his. Do you know his email? Obviously, don't say it on air unless you want people to know that. But you could forward him the email.
Yeah.
With the link. That's interesting. So what is like the thing holding it back? Is it just time, money? The not to like.
I think
we don't want to get
just
too personal, but like.
I think it's really just the things have to make sense. The timing has to be right.
Okay.
He doesn't want to put on a show just for the sake of putting a show.
Okay.
Right. He wants it to be meaningful, and I think that was like when we talk about being different. Just from his branding standpoint, like the brand stands out. It's different than anything that we would normally see here in Chicago, and
It's greener.
I think he wants. Yeah, it's greener. I saw that you were trying to get that green word in there with in the board association there, but he was not budging. But yeah, just things have to make sense, and for it to be meaningful, and for him to kind of feel like he's putting some value into the wrestling community. So I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's cool. The soccer stuff. I've been getting really into soccer. How about Messi?
Messi is tearing it up, flipping the MLS on its head, I think.
He is literally playing FIFA on easy mode right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a whole other like group of guys that are going to get signed, or potentially being signed.
Don't they have already too? The Busquets has been there, right? Then like Alba, right? He played for
Alba,
Spain.
Yeah, Jordi Alba. They all played together in Barcelona,
Oh yeah, exactly.
So like pretty much they're trying to bring back the squad. So hopefully it happens. I think it will be interesting, but also, I mean, hey, the MLS has to step it up. Like let's see some talent, grow from that.
Yeah. So, no, I'm for the MLS getting better. I'm not for like we're not going to go into soccer tangent. We're going to get back to wrestling. But I'm not for like everyone just has to understand what the MLS is. Yes, we want it to grow, and yes, we want it to get better if like you like soccer. But
I think this is a pivotal point where you switch from like that narrative of the MLS is like where this is where players come to retire. Where if players step up here, like now it could be also a launching pad, right? Like it could be the indie circuit, quote unquote, for soccer, because it's not a huge league, but there's a lot of talent that can come out of there.
Sure, I get that. I hate the people that want. I still think like the people that are starting for the USA national team should be playing and are playing in Europe, and like there is a contingency out there that's like, well, maybe this guy should go to MLS if he's not like getting a Europe spot. I'm like, no, I honestly think like playing in the French league, playing in like I just think playing in Europe will make you better because it's just a higher quality level of soccer. So like if that isn't an option, sure, like I go to the MLS and MLS can grow, yes, but like I think that's where you sharpen the iron gets the sharpest.
Yeah.
So like that's where you should go play. Yeah. So that's a whole Team USA thing. But wrestling.
Well, wrestling. We have James is here.
Okay. He made it.
He made it. Look at him. Look at him.
There he is. There. Why is he recording us? Why is he texting us?
James, can you hear us?
Oh, I can hear you.
James said soccer.
Perfect.
6. Soccer 6.
Yeah, autocorrect is a bitch. So soccer sucks.
Well,
that's not very nice.
Here we are.
James. I want to have a good episode, and the first thing out of your mouth is negative.
Oh, well, we're about to have another visitor, so maybe. We'll see.
The cat?
Yep.
All right, as long as he doesn't turn off the iPad.
No, don't worry. The iPad can't turn off. I have a fancy iPad.
Oh, well, you upgraded from last time. Remember we couldn't hear you?
There was when you guys were having technical difficulties and everything was perfectly fine. Yeah, I remember that.
No.
Pay no mind to my little ass fan. There we go.
James, I supported the company that displaced Freelance all summer. I supported Star Wars Burlesque. Have you seen that? Any of that?
No, I have no desire to see it.
So let me tell you, at one point, this might be a spoiler, but this is the last month for someone listening. But at one point, R2D2 starts making it rain on Princess Leia. As Princess Leia is backing that up, R2D2 is just spinning and shooting out dollar bills.
Is it Slave Leia?
No, it's Help Me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Oh, okay. So this is like right in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We kind of jumped around the timelines. There was a little Return of the Jedi. If you're a nerd, don't like focus too much on the storyline. There isn't one. But just respectfully admire the physicality of these performers and
sure,
their bodies.
Yes.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to ask, just kind of moving away from that,
from MLS
or the LSA.
We were filling time.
But no, just want to ask real quick. Funko Pop update. Are you still buying, collecting? I know you were selling. Are you running
selling?
Well, didn't you? Oh no, you bought. You bought the Daniel Bryan.
All I do.
That's the one that I remember. Yeah, I was like
$75 for Daniel Bryan. That's worth $470. I think that's a win.
That is
that's
a win.
A fucking win. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, hey, shout out to Kokomo Toys and Collectibles for pricing it incorrectly. I appreciate it.
On the site, they priced it on this like a site incorrectly.
No, myself and Trevor Outlaw took a trip to Kokomo, Indiana, to go to the store. And I happened to get the two pops. One pop I was definitely looking for, and another one that I don't have any of the Daniel Bryans. So when I saw 75, I pulled out my phone, and I was like, okay, well, there's two that look the exact same. One's worth 80, one's worth 470. Either way, I want it. I don't have one. I'm going to buy it. If it's worth 80, no big deal. I was buying it anyway, but if it's worth 470, hell yeah. And it was the 470 one.
Shit.
That's I don't have a Daniel Bryan, but that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Was this like a Stock Boys mistake, or who priced this one?
You know what? This place is absolutely amazing. I love it. It's a once a year trip for me, or usually in the summer, since I have so much time off, and I usually go around my birthday. And it's either they looked at it and it looked, like I said, it looks the same. The only difference is a sticker. One sticker. This one doesn't have a sticker, and the other one that's worth 80 has a sticker on it. This one does not, and this one was the one that was worth 470. But I love the store. It clearly was an accident.
Yeah.
There was a couple other ones that Trevor found, other collectibles that Trevor was looking at, that he's like, this one's worth way more than what it's stickered for. I'm like, so get it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, congrats to you.
I coined this one. Let me show you real quick.
Yeah, go for it. There's a couple of congrats in order. We'll get to that as well. Some other things.
Okay, yeah, I seen that one.
The Blue Heisenberg is one that I've just been scoping out. Yeah, I've been scoping it out for a long time, and I definitely stopped buying Funkos. Like,
I didn't.
I did.
Sadly,
but once I saw this one, I just could not say no for the second time that I saw it on the shelf. So.
Yeah, no, I just I got the new set that came out of the WWE ones. I just picked up the new Gabriel Iglesias one, and the Hulk Hogan and Mr. T like WrestleMania cover.
Yeah,
the two of those. I picked those up.
Nice. That's cool.
I got the Chase Ted DiBiase Diamond Series 1. That's the other one I found in Kokomo. He's in the green suit, which he didn't wear very often. So I definitely want that. I'm a huge Ted DiBiase fan, so had to get that. Had to.
You've been being a little villain yourself recently. Congrats on Shane winning gold.
Shane deserved it. Shane definitely has been a team player through thick and thin, through everything since the day one we started booking him. So when it was time to select a new champion, it was obvious that it was Shane Mercer. So kudos to Shane. Shane puts in a lot of work. He's a team, like I said, he's a team player, which was a major upgrade from something else. And yeah, he deserves it. So let's see how this goes now.
And I think I'm not that like, depending on what kind of wrestling fan you are, but like you look at Shane Mercer, it's like, oh yeah, that's someone who could topple Calvin Tankman, right? He kind of fits that mold of like believability. And you're biased. How has it been working with him so closely?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's a team player. He doesn't fight he doesn't fight back on any idea. He doesn't complain about what matches he's having. He just says okay, and then he makes with what he's given, and he's been given solid opponents, and I mean Craig's the man. So he hasn't really he's not a problem whatsoever. I've never had a problem with Shane. So it's been great working with him. He includes me. He doesn't put himself first.
Yeah.
It's all about the match, and he's kind of changing up his style too, because everyone just expects him to just do, all right, throw this person, throw that person, throw this person, throw that person,
lift the bleacher.
Right. And he wrestled Cole at Emporium, and he was putting Cole in arm bars and hammer locks and all this other stuff. Even Cole was like, okay, this is different, because he just, we all just assumed, okay, he's going to throw Cole around. And no, he wants to, he's like, everyone expects this of me. He's like, I want to wrestle. I want to tell stories. I was like, oh shit. Okay. You just became even a bigger team player than I had expected you to be in the first place.
That's cool. No, you guys have been yelling at me a lot, especially you. You've been yelling at me a lot, but in doing so, definitely I think your presence has been 100% felt this summer.
I'm yelling at you because I never know the next time I'm going to see you. So now, imagine when Chris shows up. Oh man, is he going to
holy
get it?
shit!
Thank you. Someone else at least is catching some flack here.
Wait till Chris shows up. He's never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's going to be a cold day in hell when that happens. Chris, do you have a
no? I mean, I got to take it. Like it's. Like we were talking about this, the hiatus of Chris with wrestling, but that has to change. It will change, and I'll be there. I'll take the heat for a little bit. We'll see.
I'll probably see you on a Thursday night in Crestwood before I see you downtown, right?
Probably, but
yeah.
in fairness to Chris, that's very close to his home, and Avondale Music Hall. Avondale Music Hall is like 3 blocks from my place. Do you know that? How close that is?
Well, now I do. Didn't know that before.
You could literally, if you wanted to come over and have a drink before or after, you literally could.
I'm just going to, if I can't find parking right in front of Avondale, I'm just going to park over by you.
But seriously, I have guest passes. If you seriously need to do that, text me, in all honesty.
Well, that is definitely good to know, because I got lucky. I was the first spot right in front of Avondale for our first show there. So it was easy. And I have all my stuff in my car. So, and I mean, you were there, you saw the rain. So having my car in close proximity was perfect.
I ran home in that shit. Oh, by the way, how about the speaker? Is that everything okay?
Oh, you mean the smoking speaker?
The speaker was on fire right behind my head. The speaker started smoking, Chris. Like during, was that like right before the main event?
The sound engineer who works there, all they had to do was set the levels for me. They didn't have to touch any. After they set it and got me to the perfect level of sound, they didn't have to touch the microphones. They didn't have to touch the sound at all whatsoever.
Okay.
Yet for some reason during the main event, all of a sudden everyone's music is like louder than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the sound engineer cranks it up for Storm. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking this is unbelievably loud. There was no reason for this. And I'm watching the sound engineer because I'm on the stage and he's like directly across from me for the most part.
Okay.
And he's just rocking out to Storm's song. And and I'm like, okay. And I just happen to look up and I'm like, oh, is there a smoke machine? I didn't know there was a smoke machine in here. And then I'm like, oh,
No.
shit. The speaker is catching on fire. This asshole overloaded the speaker. Now, earlier in the show, we lost the mics. And I was like,
yeah, there was mic problems. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then this asshole comes over to me and goes, well, first question I have for you. Did you touch anything? No, I didn't touch anything.
Wow.
The wireless receiver sitting right there. Why would I touch the wireless receiver? No, you know what he did? He touched it and turned the mics down and didn't realize he did it because he was too busy rocking out to people's theme songs. Now, Charlie, I don't know if you saw when Original Sins and Bang Bros came out, the sound got really loud and this guy was going crazy over at the board.
Was that, I mean, the crowd, the Bang Bros, the crowd gets very hyped for that.
Yes.
Song. So I'm sure he was in that mix then.
Oh, he was. And then whoop, that trick came on and he lost his mind. So no wonder why all of a sudden I'm like, man, something smells like it's burning. And then it's the speaker right, to the left of my head. So
and they're like, it was like, I had to like move my chair up. I was sitting like in that last row. It was like, I thought it was going to fall and basically destroy me and set me on fire. So that was fun.
Yeah. And the guy apologized profusely, but I mean, at that point, we lost all the sound after the main event was over, and Paul London was trying to talk to the crowd, and nobody could hear him. We couldn't hear him. You're not going to pick him up on, we didn't record that part either, because what was the point? You can't hear anything he's saying anyway.
Yeah.
So,
it was a technical nightmare at some of the points, but like the show overall, I thought was still really, really good, and it had some stuff I can talk about.
You could talk about everything on it. I
was
thoroughly impressed with how good the show was, considering.
Yes. Before we talk about like specifics of the show, because I made like a list of like I thought 10 points that kind of stood out, but the how has like the summer been as far as like kind of being displaced? Has it been hectic or chaotic or like you seem to find still places to go,
Yeah, we're blessed when it comes to venues and just people wanting us there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been difficult. It's been more difficult. I mean, LSA was home, and when Jabba the Hutt's on the stage instead of me,
drunk Jabba, he looks hammered.
Yeah, he looks high as hell.
He looks high.
I saw like the clips of it.
Yeah,
and
looks weird.
Irving Hall, it was like a miniature version of LSA. Not as it was bigger, but not as big where the ring was.
Without a license.
And to that, I'm not having a performance license,
right.
And then getting it shut down, and we felt awful for AAW. I mean, that was terrible.
Yeah,
I would never wish that on anybody, no matter what. And having to scramble and find another venue, but luckily the people from the patio were coming to our shows, and the owner of the patio owns the patio, Portage Theater, and Avondale Music Hall. So it was an easy transition. And I don't know if you remember, in 2021, coming out of the pandemic, Nick wanted to move Freelance to Avondale Music Hall. Oh. And the dates were set there, and then all of a sudden the person that was getting him into Avondale disappeared, and then the phone's disconnected at Avondale, and we can't get a hold of anybody, so we went back to Logan Square. I mean, which was the smart move at that point anyway, because Freelance was growing. But here we are 2 years after the fact, and we're at Avondale Music Hall.
I thought that place was that place like shut down or closed for a couple of years?
It may have been.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain,
Okay.
but I mean, I think it went through. Excuse me. It went through ownership change, maybe. I'm not 100% certain.
Because I lived here since 2018. Every time I walked by there, even at night, a billion dog walks, dog walks a day. I had never seen like any activity until like maybe a couple months before I think Freelance you guys ran there. There was like a line out of the door for something else, and I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. And then you booked it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm very blessed and fortunate where I live. So
because I can walk there. and I mean, the other good part about Avondale Music Hall, it's a literal midway point between Irving Hall and Logan Square Auditorium.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And it has a little bit more access to public transportation than Irving Hall did, where you needed to basically drive to Irving Hall. This one, you could walk to it from the train. I think, if I remember, I was trying to look things up.
It was like a 10,
take the train,
10,
get on a bus.
Yeah.
So what does it look like going forward? Does Freelance go back to the LSA? Are you guys still like venturing out? Still not clear?
Well, I mean,
what's up?
I don't know what the future holds for Logan Square Auditorium. We get bits and pieces of information about possible plans for Logan Square and how, it might not be what it was before they moved in there. Because they took down everything. I mean, if you've gone to it, they took down all the speakers. They took down, I think, a lot of the lighting. They took down a lot of stuff. It looked
like it almost like they built the stage farther out, and then they put up a large curtain that went to the ceiling, and then they built. So yeah, that was a little different, but yeah, it looked very different when I went in there a little bit. So,
so I mean, that definitely has a lot to play into what move we make with it moving and leaving the city of Chicago. A lot of that depends on Avondale too. We had a blast at Avondale. It looked awesome on camera. Lots of free parking on Milwaukee. I think there was even some free parking around the corner. So we want to build a relationship with them because, hey, Portage Theater, they got patio theater. Patio theater for the winter is good, but during the summer it's got no AC, so that's not going to happen. But it holds more people. LSA, we've packed it to the point where we can't pack another body in the building safely.
Yeah.
So this working relationship that we have at Avondale Music Hall might lead to something bigger, something better, and we don't want to necessarily ruin it just because Logan Square Auditorium is a safe place to go. So a lot of it depends on Avondale Music Hall and their availability. We gave them the rest of the dates for the year, and we're going to see what happens. Our next show is at Emporium. Thank God we have that buffer in between to make things work out.
They've been very helpful, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens as far as Logan Square come the remainder of the year. Obviously, we take into consideration our season ticket holders as well.
Right.
And, we want to accommodate them as much as we possibly can. We did tell everybody it was going to be Irving Hall. So that didn't pan out. And we told them Logan Square Auditorium. So we're taking that into consideration as well. You know, and any of our season ticket, good part is none of the season ticket holders have said a word about the venue changes. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. Talent wise, I feel like it's just been an interesting summer, right? Because like there's been so many different venues and I'm following you around in different places and things like that. Talent wise, there's been a couple people that have stuck out to me, but who stuck out? Who's having like a really good summer for freelance? Would you say? Like who sticks out to you?
Oh man, Koda Hernandez.
Yeah, he was on my list.
Definitely. Koda is sticking out. I mean, Bang and Matthews always are sticking out.
Chris, you saw that right on Twitter?
I realized I made the mistake after I said it the first time. Bang and Matthews are sticking out for sure. Shane and Craig sticking out for sure.
Yeah.
Man, who else? I'm really intrigued by the Trevor and Perch thing that's going on right now.
It is interesting. It is different. It is different. I'll give you credit for that for sure.
As far as like, man, I mean, Storm's rise. Storm's a champ, and he's putting on solid matches left and right. Bryan Keith, obviously.
Dude,
Chico.
Bryan Keith. Yeah. Okay. So you hit everyone that I kind of wanted to touch on, honestly. Bryan, I don't know. It was like New Texas Pro released a list of like, I think he's having like the same kind of title run that he's having with Freelance. Mm-hmm. And they just released a list of like, it was like 20 names. So he's just been, and he's kind of honestly been doing the same here. And he's like an Iron Man. He's an Iron Horse. He's a workhorse, whatever those words you want to call him. But it's like, you literally line him up and he wrestles them, and it's really good every single time. It's been like, I want Freelance to release a list like that, where it's just like all the names. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if Bryan Keith isn't named the best independent wrestler of 2023, there's major problems out in the independent wrestling world.
Right.
No disrespect to Matt Cardona, because he's the indie god.
He turns heads, yeah.
But with all due respect to Matt Cardona, he's not putting on the matches that Bryan Keith is putting on with everybody and anybody.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Chris. Do you have something?
Yeah, no, I'm like, I can't think of a match that was like, oh, it was okay from Bryan Keith. Like,
yeah, they're all above it.
It's just been, and you kind of like, after so many, you're like, okay, well, here comes, a match where he's going to kind of take it easy. But no, like, it's going all out every single time.
It really is. How I was super, honestly, and this is like, I know we give Chico a lot of shit here and there, but like, I was honestly so impressed with Chico. And he wrestled Bryan Keith at the last Freelance show. He wore his own serape, Chris. He wore his own serape. And I honestly, I thought he grew up before our very eyes there. The coolest part, I'll obviously let you comment on the match, James. The coolest part about it was to me, it felt like a heightened version of Chico. And like, he didn't try to be anybody else. He didn't try to be Speedball Mike Bailey.
No.
He didn't try to be like, okay, I need to be Speedball versus Bryan Keith. No, this match was Chico on his A game versus Bryan Keith. He had all the Chico spots in there. He had all the like slow down and play to the crowd work, whatever you want to pantomiming, whatever you want to call that. I was like so impressed with his performance.
So was I.
Yeah.
I'm so incredibly the applause. I'm so incredibly proud of Chico.
Yeah.
And to go from just goofy Chico as an individual and not really getting it, and just everybody being supportive of him because of who he is as an individual, and
correct,
coming out of the pandemic, taking a, here's something that's been beaten into the ground, to taking a chance on yourself and leaving the comfortable waters of what he had known for 8 years, 9 years, and going, okay, well, I don't have a home anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at Golly anymore. I am going to venture out and see what I could do. And, he stopped being a young kid and started to learn. And his work now shows completely how much he has changed as a performer and as a young man. And I couldn't be happier and prouder of him.
You sound like a proud dad. That was like exactly, I think, how I kind of, at one point I was the only one standing and clapping, but I wasn't trying to do that as like a, hey, look at me person in the crowd. But like, I just don't think, like, probably besides the talent back there, I don't know if anyone in that I might be like, this might be wrong to say, but like a lot of people in that crowd haven't kind of followed Chico throughout this maturation process that you just explained. But like we have, everyone on this podcast has followed that. So I remember just standing up and clapping and looking around and no one else kind of was, but that's just because I saw shit from Chico I had never seen in that type of match before and that type of like caliber of match. So I was like, yeah, exactly. Like it was like proud dad vibes for sure.
And they got a standing ovation, if I can remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that from the paying audience than after your match is over to stand up and clap.
Yeah. 100%.
So, yeah. Chico showed a lot of people that they were wrong about him. And I hope he continues to do that. And he doesn't sit on his ass and do nothing now that he got the recognition that he's getting now for being really good. I trust Chico to wrestle anybody.
Yeah, after that, 100%. Yeah, stay hungry, obviously, would be the advice probably given. Yeah. What are some? I'm looking at this list here. I listed 10 takeaways from the show. First of all, some other funny things that happened. That fat head of the woman in the afro, that was my wife. I don't know.
I know who it was.
Okay. Interesting. That match was crazy, by the way. Thumbtacks everywhere. There was everything at thumbtacks.
I wasn't even around ringside, and I somehow still had tacks in the bottom of my shoes.
James got thrown out early in that match. Before it even started, I think.
Perch. Glad he's suspended, damn it.
Tell me what's the end goal here with Shane? Is it just to control and dominate? Like what do you guys talk about? Like what is the thing like if you were to explain yourself, explain your actions, like this is why I'm doing this with Shane, is it like what would be the answer to that?
It literally started out as a way to finish off the story with Craig.
Okay.
It was okay. Well, this guy's gone. I'm still here. What the hell am I going to do? I don't want to just drop the angle because someone quit. So it was like, oh man, it'd be cool to have Shane Mercer come in. Screw it. I'll bring Shane in and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
If the story called for, for Shane to just come in, feud with Craig, do the business for Craig and then I'm gone, that's fine. Okay. Like this freelance, being on camera and freelance was never something that I wanted to do. When we kind of stepped in to go, all right, Nick, we got you. It just, it just happened because Monix wanted it to happen, and I fought it. And I told Monix, I'm like, I'm not going to do this if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it made complete sense to come in with Monix.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't even make the decision to come in. It was up to the other two that are involved in all the decision making. And I was like, look, this is the idea. If you guys like it, awesome. If you guys absolutely hate it and you think it's stupid, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I am happy doing what I'm doing. It's enough work. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about not adding another thing to my growing list of responsibilities that I've undertaken. And both of them were like, no, let's do it. And, as the story progressed, other ideas come up. And what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And it was like, okay, it looks like Shane's going to be sticking around for a while. On top of the fact that we had decided, all right, Shane logically can be the guy to beat Tankman at Underground. Yeah. So what we're going to do in the future looks like you're going to have to keep showing up.
Well.
Oh, and you're just going to have to just show up.
I'm just going to have to show up.
Oh, shit. Okay. Storm
I
Grayson.
saw this list.
You saw this list.
You put it on Twitter. I saw the list. So please. I
Okay.
agreed with a majority of it.
Oh.
Did you agree with George? Did you agree with? Oh, are you there?
Yep.
Are
No.
you there?
For a second, we're like, oh, this is gonna be take 3.
I'm just used to technical difficulties, honestly. Okay. The Storm Grayson. I would say yes, has been having great matches. I thought he cut a promo that was like middle ground, that was on your YouTube channel. By the way, I was like, there is extra promos on your Freelance's YouTube channel that I have missed, and I just want to say, if you want more promos, go to Freelance's YouTube channel. But where he's like, hey, I'm not your underdog anymore. Like, he doesn't want to be this just like, oh, we cheer for Storm because he's your underdog, etc. It was like gave him an edge. Like, confidence. I kind of want to, yeah, exactly. Like,
you know, he was the underdog. He was the guy that had to fight against everything that was thrown in front of him to even get another opportunity. He won. He rid the company of the 2 problems that Freelance was having in Robert Anthony and Frank the Clown. Mm-hmm. And everyone's still, with the opponents that he's having, do they necessarily look at him as the guy, or do they look at him as, all right, here's just another guy that he needs to prove that he belongs and that he is the rightful champion. And we've gotten to a point where, he's not the underdog, and people need to stop seeing him as the underdog and go, okay, no, you're the guy. Who are you going to be kicking the ass of next? And if it happens to be a Paul London, a Chris Bay, or a Trevor Outlaw, or a Craig Mitchell, it doesn't matter. He's still the champion. You have to beat him to become champion. So as time progresses, you'll see more out of Storm. As far as live promos, our shows are 2 to 2.5 hours long. So you've got one person now, and you had 2 previously, that all they do is talk. You had me and you had Frank. So we need to be on a live microphone in order to get our characters over and what we're going to be doing. Then you have Trevor, who if Trevor's not wrestling, Trevor has proven that he is a person that people love to hate. So if Trevor's not wrestling, Trevor should be talking.
Yes.
And I mean, you saw what happened. Trevor talked, and now Perch is gone.
Yeah. Okay. I get your point. Let's talk about that. But I get your point about Storm.
So you'll see more out of Storm.
It's a proving period. It's a proving period, right? Yes. Okay. Because Storm is just starting to finally. He's always been confident in who he is as a wrestler. He's starting to become more and more confident in the speaking portion of being the champion. So it on the recording and putting up on YouTube, we can monitor, was it good, was it not good? Do you want to reshoot it again? Whereas if he has a live microphone, there's no retake. We're live, pal. You gotta go with what you're saying. And he's becoming more and more confident speaking, and we just gotta get him to the point where if we go, okay, you have a live promo, and he goes, okay, what do you need me to say? As opposed to, oh, well, is there any way that we can? No, as champion, you are the face of the company. You need to speak to the people, whether it's telling the people that you're not the underdog, or telling the people that their confidence in you builds your confidence up, and you're going to defend them to the day that you can't defend them anymore. Whatever it is, may be. So it's a wait and see thing. Okay, that's good. I like that, and I do like the slow burn of like backstage promos first, because like I said, I like that, and then that evolving into live promos. So that's cool. I want to start. Chris, can you plug in the hashtag reinstate Perch into the little pop-ups that you do? Hashtag reinstate Perch, because he's suspended.
We can definitely do that, but on the queue, I have Be Like Perch.
Be Like Perch, who is a good human and deserves
Exactly.
his job back.
Perch is a great human being. Terrible referee, great human being.
Oh man. So how did that paperwork even come about? Trevor has some kind of paperwork that he served to Perch, and
apparently he served him
Perch
with papers, and until that's all taken care of, Perch is suspended. So good. Perch tossed me out of ringside.
I don't get. Is your signature on those papers? Like, I don't get where he got those.
That is a Matt Nix needs to handle his business.
It's getting put on Nix now. Okay.
Nix is the owner. He's the owner. He's got to handle all the day-to-day operations, right? Whether it be behind the camera or on the camera, he's the one that handles all the day-to-day.
Yeah,
right?
But who's been running the show though?
What are you talking about?
Now you're not. So you're not going to take any credit for all the good stuff that we've been talking about.
Perch deserved everything he got.
I don't think that's true.
Hey, just wait and see, man. I am not going to spoil any story for you. I'm not going to tell you where it's going. I can't.
I know it's nervous, excited energy. That's what you're getting.
I can't spill the beans on what's going to happen next.
That's fair. Yeah, and then I think the first person, and we can talk about anyone else, any questions that Chris has, because I know he's been living under a rock. That's a joke. But no, he has 3 kids. Father of three. Cut him some slack. Koda Hernandez. Let's just say that side profile is banging. He lost weight. Did he not?
Yes.
Koda Hernandez.
Oh, Koda Hernandez has lost weight. He's dedicated to what he's doing. He is a sponge. He's learning. He's sucking everything up and applying it to his craft.
Doing a lot of sucking.
Not that way.
Go
back match, under your rock, okay?
The match with Bryan Keith at Ring of Rage, Freelance Ring of Rage. Yes, I have that right.
Where Koda Hernandez lost half a tooth.
He lost his tooth, Chris. I didn't even tell you this yet.
No.
I've been telling Chris story. He lost his tooth. He came like that match had a huge big fight feel. He came out jacked up, so much adrenaline. I had so much adrenaline. He gave me a high five because like where I was standing that night, I was standing like very close to the ring at Emporium. It was the hardest high five I've ever received in my entire life. I was
your hand got chopped.
My hand was ringing after that. And then like he did his entrance, but yes, lost a tooth during that. Electric, just an electric factory, that match.
Another guy that earned that right with his performance and his time that he puts into the gym and the time he puts into the ring. And Koda's definitely been probably, I'd say so far, he's the most improved of 2023.
Yeah. I agree. I just took a sip. Sorry. No, absolutely.
How unprofessional of you. God.
And then 2 Juice returns for the main event. Let's not forget about that.
Oh, yeah. That guy. That guy was not happy that he was the referee for the main event, even though it was his birthday, and that's the reason why he was the referee for the main event. He was not happy with us. He's like, really? Why? Why do you got me doing the main event? Oh, well, it's your birthday, man, and it's the only match that really made sense to make you the referee for. He's like, but they're gonna make me do so much. I'm like, so? Like, welcome back.
He doesn't have his legs under. You got to get his legs back. You got to get his.
Then he needs to start hitting the treadmill to get his legs back. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man!
Because he needs to get his. If he needs to get his legs back, once a month isn't going to get them legs back.
We need to get 2 Juice back into regular season form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we miss a good old 2 Juice and James Banter show. So, you know,
I know we haven't. In fairness, I don't want to say like we don't. It's literally no offense to 2 Juice that like we love. No, it's not. We love the 2 Juice and James banter, but I think
it was so good in person.
It was better in person, and I think the episodes can just. You guys have honestly so many good things to say, and you guys play off of each other. I think the episodes were getting a little long. I just think it's just easier with James. You go straight to the source. But we love Two Juice. We want to have Two Juice back on. We're glad he's back in the ring.
I'll hang out with Two Juice at the bar any day.
At Chili's.
No, don't do that. Keep Two Juice out of the bar.
I haven't been to Applebee's in a long time, so it might be just.
Is it Apple? Oh, it's Applebee's. Oh fuck! I said Chili's.
The Dollaritas, dude.
Dollaritas, dude. Two
Dollaritas.
Two.
Well,
okay. Anything else that I missed?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what's next for Freelance? What are we looking forward to?
Oh
like,
man,
what's in the horizon?
Man, the end of the year, just the next 4 or 5 months. We've been putting them together. We have our game plan for all the major important stuff all together. Okay. Looking forward to the Emporium show. You know, with AEW being in town, it's a whole bunch of different eyes that we hope that are going to come out and like what we do. And, you know, how often do you get an opportunity to perform in front of an international audience on an independent level outside of WrestleMania weekend, which even then, if you're not part of the collective, if you're not GCW branded, who from the independent scene really gets to do that? So we have that awesome opportunity to do the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, we're not in Hoffman Estates with GCW, but we still feel like we're a big part of that with them, with the working relationship that we do have with Game Changer Wrestling. So we've announced the first 2 matches for Emporium: Storm Grayson versus Steph DeLander for the Freelance World title. And then we announced today Bryan Keith defending against Jordan Oliver. So 2 big matches right there. Still have another big title match to announce, and then some debuts, some returns. So just keep watching for all of that. And then September, October, November, December. November will be another Emporium date, and then September, October, and December we'll let everybody know exactly where we're going to be once we sort out what's going on.
Cool.
I want to give so much away. I want to give so much away, but I can't.
I want you to. I feel like it's been really cool to see other people take the spotlight, I think. Plus you still have like Bryan Keith doing his thing, but I feel like people have really stepped up for the Freelance brand this summer. Cause like I said, it's been a weird size. You've been a little like displaced, and like, I wouldn't say weird, but it's just like, it feels a little different than the LSA. But the shows are still really fun. Like the shows are still like Emporium shows.
They're still freelance shows.
They're still freelance shows.
Yeah. They're still freelance shows. And someone, I can't remember who it was, just was talking to me about how our product doesn't get stale. And I was like, okay. I'm like, thank you. But how so? Oh, you're always bringing in different guys. It's not the same guys that are on every show. It's not the same. And when I say guys, I mean everybody. It's not the same talent. Yeah. We'll use talent instead of guys. You're using different talent in different ways than everyone else does. It's not the same show over and over and over again. You have a mixture of everything. That's what we aim to do. We aim to be different. We aim to be different, especially with, give them their flowers, of course. AEW. AEW is currently the longest running independent wrestling company in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
They have a built-in rep for the last, 20 years? Mm-hmm. And, we're just trying to get that rep on a different level than what AEW has. So, we're no longer really compared to them, which is, I think, an awesome feat. That it's not.
That's
everyone's not going. Everyone's not going. Oh man, AEW and Freelance, AEW, and they're competing. We're not competing. We've never said we were competing with AEW, and AEW never said that they were competing with us. And now, instead of saying either or, it's both. So I think, do you get what I'm saying by that? By it's both.
Yeah.
There's no clear cut like ranking.
Is it two
They have
spotlights,
their
two
thing.
completely
Yes,
different?
two spotlights. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Everyone's forging their own path now. So it's awesome. I've had, for the last 3 years, I've been having the time of my life putting this all together and trying to give everybody something that they want to see, as well as present something new and something different than what you normally get.
Yeah, no, 100% different. Yes. I haven't seen fans bring the weapons match in a long time. I appreciated the insanity of that. Plus, you had other different types of matches on the show.
If you want to be different, bring back that cage.
What cage? I don't know what you're talking about. What cage? There's no cage.
Brian
No cage
Cage.
whatsoever.
Brian
Right,
Cage.
cage. Okay.
No, thank you. That's a Warrior Wrestling thing. Warrior Wrestling and Bryan Cage, they have a good relationship. That could stay with Warrior Wrestling.
No, you make a good point though, because you guys are very different, and it's almost like the LSA not being available has kind of like there's enough people in the city and city plus suburbs to go to a wrestling show on the north side, a wrestling show on the south side, both wrestling shows. There's enough, and I feel like you guys have really thrived doing your own thing, both of you. So.
Right. And I mean, and for Underground, we're trying to get back into the city still. You know,
Okay.
our greatest for Underground, our greatest success was the South Side at Beta Brow for sure, and we're still trying to get back into the city. Working with a couple things right now, just trying to make things happen. So
cool. No, we wish you the best. I know that freelance is in my future, Chris.
We will keep supporting in different ways.
We give our time.
Why aren't you watching the stream at least?
Father of three, dude. Father of three.
It's not the same. Like I'll have it on the background. I'll have it in the background, but it's not the same. I'm missing that freelance atmosphere, man. Like I gotta get back there. So I'll be there for sure.
I'm just glad the heat's off me, man. It took a while, but James scanning the crowd, James Russo scanning the crowd, seeing me a couple times, and then it's all it takes, and the switch flips, and now the heat's on Chris Romero.
Absolutely. I mean, in all fairness, the last show I went to was a Thunderbolts. I took my son with him. It was his first wrestling show.
That is cool.
We stuck around for a little bit. He had a blast though. So it was good. I mean, but now Chris needs the freelance over 21 show. So I'll be there. I'll make it.
You will. It'll happen.
I gotta speak it into the universe, right?
Manifest.
Put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Absolutely.
Great. All right.
James, thank you for joining us. I mean, it's
never a problem.
I'm like,
I love talking to you guys. All joking aside, love talking to you guys. It's always fun. Missed the banner with Two Juice, but it's okay.
Yeah, we'll do some of that in the future. Honestly,
the problem is I'm not like I'm not like that anymore. Where I say something that's gonna piss him off because I try to be more professional instead of shoot from the hip now, and I try to use my words wisely as opposed to just speaking what the first thing that comes to my mind is. It might be boring. It might be boring now with the two of us. I might just sit here and go, "Yep, what he said."
No, James, you've been.
He will know what you mean, and he's able to read between the lines, so he knows where you're going. And that's always a fun ride. So
there was an old audiogram really quickly I saw. First of all, we appreciate you as your flexibility as well, James, and your time and your insight and you. But there was an old audiogram I saw where you two were arguing over who is the Sean and who is the Marty, and it was pretty vicious. You were giving Two Juice the business on this audiogram. So you've been a Boy Scout lately, honestly.
If anyone thinks twice about how things are now, I'm the Sean, and he's definitely the Marty.
Okay.
I say that with nothing but love and respect, Caleb, if you listen. So I am definitely the Sean. He is definitely the Marty at this point.
Okay. But you have
how
been.
the tables have turned, I guess.
Yes, you have been.
And they have,
very
because Charlie's
well.
now Sean and you're Marty.
Wow. Hey, give me some, dude.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, where's my camera?
Well-
Boom.
All right, take us home.
All
Take us home, Janetti.
Well, we first have to give the floor to James here.
Oh yeah.
Just
I got
freelance
you.
handles.
Don't make me.
No.
Oh God.
Freelance.com still is freelancewrestling.com?
freelancewrestling.com still exists. That's where you could get your tickets. The ticket link is at the top. And then it's Freelance Wrestling on Instagram, Freelance Wrestling on Facebook, Freelance Wrestling on YouTube, and Freelance Rest, WRES, on whatever the hell that app is called now. X. Is that what it's called? I mean, I still could go to twitter.com and it leads me there, but X.
XTV exhibit.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Make sure you follow Freelance and keep up with all of what they're doing. As far as Two Heels and a Face goes, it's twoheelsandaface.com, number 2heelsandaface.com. And all social channels, same thing, Two Heels and a Face, number 2 Heels and a Face, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And, make sure you hit that, star rating on Spotify. If you're listening to this on audio form,
James.
doesn't, you can do the 5-star, you can do the 2-star, just, give it a star. Outside of that, make sure you hashtag Viva La Chico, and that is it for all of us.
Yeah, and hashtag reinstate Perch or bring back Perch, please.
There you go, bring back Perch.
Hashtag bring back Perch. Thanks.
All right, thank y'all.